Right now, we are in the middle of the single biggest bet in corporate history. Seriously, big tech is pouring an almost unbelievable amount of money into artificial intelligence. And it's all happening at a scale that is just really hard to wrap your head around. $650 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's what just four companies, we're talking Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, and Amazon, are on track to spend on AI infrastructure in the single year of 2026. And you gotta ask the big question, right? Why are these companies, these untouchable cash printing machines, suddenly risking everything on this one technology? And maybe even more important, what in the world happens if this colossal gamble fails? To really get what's going on, we have to appreciate the sheer scale of this spending. And believe me, the word unprecedented doesn't even begin to cover it. Just look at this chart of capital expenditures. It tells you the whole story. For years, you see that spending grew pretty steadily. But then look at the forecast for 2025 and 2026. That is not just growth, that is an absolute explosion. We are looking at the largest corporate spending project in history, blowing everything that's come before it completely out of the water. Okay, let's break it down. Amazon is looking at spending around $200 billion. Alphabet, Google's parent company, is right behind them at $185 billion. And Meta, they're set to pour in as much as $135 billion. I mean, these are the kinds of budgets you see from entire countries, all laser-focused on one single goal. And what's really staggering is the speed of it all. This level of spending is a 60% jump from just 1 year earlier. When you see acceleration like that, it tells you something really important. This is no longer just a simple investment in the future. No, what this has become is the great AI arms race. And in this war, the only goal is total, complete market dominance. Analyst Gil Loria puts it perfectly. These tech giants see the market for AI compute, that's the raw horsepower for AI, as a winner-take-all game. The thinking is, if you fall behind right now, you might never ever catch up. For them, losing isn't just a bad outcome. It's simply not an option. So a good way to think about it is like this. AI compute is the new oil. See, just like controlling oil meant controlling the industrial economy, these companies believe that whoever controls the infrastructure for intelligence, well, they'll control the entire digital economy of the future. They are in a frantic, global race to own the wells. But a race this frantic comes with immense risks, and lurking behind these incredible numbers are some very real and very immediate hidden dangers. This whole spending spree is creating enormous pressure, and not just on these companies, but on all of us. It means they have to borrow massive amounts of money, it's straining energy grids to their breaking point, it's driving up the cost of power and water, and it's creating huge swings in the market as investors get, understandably nervous about that astronomical price tag. And here's the big shift. For years, we all saw these companies as invincible, cash-generating machines. But now, to fund this AI race, they actually have to borrow money. That is a fundamental seismic change in their financial DNA. And you better believe Wall Street has noticed. Since they announced these latest spending plans, these four companies have collectively lost over $950 billion in market value. That is not a small dip. That's the market sounding a massive alarm. So if the tech giants are the ones taking on all this risk, it kind of begs the question, who is actually making the real money in all of this? Well, as it turns out, a whole new set of winners is emerging from the conflict. Meet the arms dealers of the great AI war. We're talking about companies like Nvidia, AMD, and Broadcom. They're the ones making the essential gear, the superpowered chips and processors that are basically the bullets and bombs in this high-tech conflict. So while Amazon and Google are spending billions to build their AI armies, companies like Nvidia are selling them the weapons. The entire AI supply chain, from the chip makers all the way down to the electricians building the data centers, is seeing an absolute explosion in demand. And for them, business is booming. Which brings us all the way back to the ultimate multi-hundred-billion-dollar question. Is this enormous, world-changing gamble actually going to pay off for the companies making the bets? This quote from tech CEO Steve Lucas just nails the debate that's spooking investors. Nobody is really questioning the potential of AI. What they are questioning is the timeline and the economics. When will this insane investment actually start turning a profit? And will it ever? So this is the central conflict in a nutshell. On one side, you have the promise of exponentially higher revenue from AI services sometime in the future. But on the other side, you have the brutal reality of today, a totally uncertain timeline and incredibly shaky economics. No one really knows when or even if that promise is going to overcome the reality. You see, this AI race isn't just about technology anymore. It has become a global battle of capital, of resources, and of raw power. And as the dust starts to settle from this historic spending spree, the real question left is this: who will be left standing to dominate the future of intelligence itself?